President Donald Trump continues his historic summits with European leaders. It has all culminated with his sit-down with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Everything coming out of the American media has been negative and dishonest, but you'll never believe what Russia's media has been saying about Trump. It's gotten to the point where we can trust a word the mainstream media says about our president. Despite all of the great accomplishments he's achieved in just a year and a half, the press continues to slander him. Every quote is taken out of context. His achievements are either ignored or attributed to the last administration. Worst of all, they produce fake stories to smear Trump's character. This past week has been no different. President Trump traveled to Europe to fight for the American people. For years, our leaders have been puppets to foreign nations and special interests. Wealthy businessmen have manipulated our lawmakers so that they could outsource jobs, plundering the United States of resources and opportunity. Trump is working hard to reverse all that, passing tariffs and demanding our allies pay their fair share. And what is our media doing? They are attacking him from every angle. The New York Times slandered Trump's America First approach by suggesting the president is trying to sow chaos in Europe, distrustful of all agreements except those he forged himself. Mr. Trump treats even allies as competitors. His is the world of Athens and Sparta. And while that hardly means a descent into war, Mr. Trump's instincts have brought conflict in other forms. He has begun sweeping trade wars and seems in perpetual diplomatic fights, particularly with allies. Source: The New York Times. That's right, Trump wants to create war and disaster. Never mind the fact that Trump's stance is to protect the interests of American workers. The New York Times ignores those people. These are the people Clinton and other presidents abandoned as they gave away our jobs to Asia and Europe. It doesn't stop there. Today, President Trump is meeting with Vladimir Putin. Important issues are being discussed between the two leaders. Russia is a major superpower. In recent years, they have interfered in the Middle East and have encroached on European nations. There is a good reason for President Trump to address these issues by speaking with Putin directly. While this critical summit is going on, what is happening here? Twitter puts out a trending topic #Reason Summit to openly declare that Trump is betraying the United States by meeting with Putin. It is the same tired accusations the left have been throwing at Trump since the election. Liberals in both the old and new media want us to believe Trump is a pawn of Russia. They've yet to produce any evidence to back this claim, but that hasn't stopped them from lying through their teeth, just to undermine the president. Makes you wonder who's really committing treason? You'd think, considering the climate, that Russia's media would be just as adversarial. After years of attacks from our media, including American politicians accusing Russia of meddling with our election, Russia would have reason to slander President Trump. Except, that's not what they're doing at all. A political maverick who is being unfairly targeted by his own compatriots. That's the common portrayal of Trump on Russia's largely Kremlin-friendly TV networks, websites and newspapers. Newspaper Komsomolskaya Pravda dismissed the U.S. investigation into Trump's mythical work for the Kremlin, and praised Trump for meeting Putin despite opposition from his own elite and the hysterics of the media. Universally sympathetic to Trump, they described him as hobbled by domestic political challenges, a problem Putin doesn't face after 18 years of stifling political opposition, and by Special Investigator Robert Mueller's probe of alleged Russian election interference. Russian commentators and editorialists who consider the European Union hostile, troublesome or irrelevant welcomed Trump's criticism of longtime European allies as foes to the U.S. Source: Fox News. Considering how often the United States is at odds with Russia, you'd think their media would be very aggressive towards our president. Instead, they seem to be portraying a more accurate depiction of President Trump than our own media. This was a similar case when Trump visited the Middle East and Asia. From the media to the general public, he was treated like royalty. People around the world respect President Trump for his strong leadership, honesty, and integrity. Even when he talks tough to our allies, they respect him. In fact, they seem to respect him all the more when he gets tough. Compare that to Barack Obama, who constantly apologized to the world for America. They, in turn, walked all over him. Only in the United States and parts of Europe do the media show open and dishonest hatred toward President Trump. Perhaps that's because these media companies are in the hands of global elites, Liberals who want to exploit the United States. Everywhere else they see the potential of working honestly with the president. Their media outlets have no reason to be negative and dishonest. In fact, they know the value of reporting the facts impartially. Shows you just how far our media has fallen.